while they're doing that, I want to talk a little bit briefly about some of the statue company controversies this week. We've had a couple of them. Number one, we have, and I addressed it on the channel, but I did want to hear your thoughts.
I have a question before we go.
Yes.
The comment section doesn't seem to be available while we're live.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not seeing it either, Chris.
It's been mentioned in the chat a couple times, and I was waiting to see.
Okay, so maybe I just wanted to double check because I wasn't exactly sure where it pulled from, but it looks like this is working in the live chat also, so that's fine. Okay. That's fine, guys. $4.99 super chat from Colton. Recently got a signed Heath Ledger photo from the Patriot, fully authenticated by JSA. That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's awesome. I would love to have a Heath Ledger autograph, and I think that he did a few autographs on some Dark Knight stuff, like some early promotional stuff.
Oof.
But I think it's pretty rare. I've seen some like clearly fake ones where it's got like a photo of him as the Joker. It's like I don't think, maybe they might have had some photos of him prior, but that's awesome. That's really cool, Colton. Thank you very much, and thanks for the super chat. That's awesome. We're up to 145 entries, guys. There's 249 people watching. So again, if you want a chance to win, #BSC. Make sure it's capital BSC. Capital BSC. Anyway, so we had one issue with the Prime 1 I want to talk about briefly. The Prime 1 issue of the reissue of the Alien statue. And then another issue with some people that had concerns about the Queen Studios piece, and Jeff and I are getting that piece, the Heath Ledger, where some people are concerned. They think that the body is made of like a PVC material and it was like moving. And so people, feel like they were lied to. So let's start with that one. Jeff, did you see that footage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think of that? Like, does that bother you at all?
It doesn't bother me as much as it did some people on both Facebook and in Statue Forum. I do think that Queen Studios should have been more specific about the materials when it went up for pre-order. It does just say polystone and fabric. It doesn't say PVC anywhere. It doesn't change my desire to own the piece in any way. I don't think PVC is cheaper than polystone.
It's not.
So they did something a little different. I'm not going to sit there and move his arms like they did in the video. So
you're not going to do any like stop motion or anything like that?
Yeah. So it's going to be a stationary object no matter what it's made of. And I will review it based on how it is in my hands rather than how it is on a video.
Yeah. For me, I feel the same. I do feel like in Queen Studios has had, let's be honest, they've had some PR issues where they have made statements like every piece is hand painted by Viper, that sort of thing. And then it said, well, no, it's actually just Viper's team. They've got to be careful with that stuff.
And they forgot to number that piece.
They've got to be careful with that stuff because that's going to cause trust issues.
The art figure, the 6 scale figures, they were only going to be available a short amount of time, is what they said, and then you can still order it. The Heath Ledger with the rooted hair, 6 scale figure.
Yeah. Let me address this. Evet C says $5 super chat. Adding multiple BSCs won't add more entries. Correct. Yeah. Just one time, guys. You just have to do it one time because it just recognizes the name. I've got 161 entries. So yeah, you don't have to do it multiple times. It's not going to increase your chances. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Evet. Thank you. So I'm worried that if they're going to start getting a bad reputation and people aren't going to trust them if they, do you think it's just all whoopsers? Like we just didn't think about it. We're new. We don't really.
Well, The first thing that came to mind when I saw that video was it done intentionally? So maybe it had some flex to get the clothes on to the actual figure.
Hey guys, pardon the interruption, but I want to take just a second and talk about one of my newest sponsorships here on the channel, the Ridge Wallet. And here is my Ridge Wallet right here. It's absolutely fantastic. It is so incredibly compact. It has completely replaced my old wallet. This thing was bulky, it was wide. This takes up so much less room in your pocket. Of course, there's many great features with this wallet, including the fact that it can hold up to 12 cards, and if you pop it out just like this, it's easy access to your cards. It also has RFID blocking technology, which means that people trying to steal your information, it will be blocked. And also, if you flip it over on the back, there's a really tight, great money clip for your cash, so it's going to keep everything nice and secure. Now, of course, being the Batman statue collector, I chose the black titanium. Absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend this one, but of course there are other colors and designs if you're interested. Now, there is a special code at checkout, BSC. Use that for 15% off your order. I will put the link down below if you're interested in that. Again, I highly recommend the Ridge Wallet. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, because Lord knows how hard it was to put that half scale Joker from Prime 1. Like, it was, not easy. And again, going back to the material, like PVC was that right? PVC?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is it's an expensive material. It is more expensive than polystone.
Yep.
And so, some people think obviously like, oh, it's just plastic. It's, cheaper. So I think you're probably right, Eric. I think it's more of just it's easier to get the clothes on, type thing, especially if, why would they go to a more expensive material if they didn't need to?
Right. And there were a lot of people who seemed very sure of what part of the statue was made of PVC and what was made of polystone when they had no way of knowing that. So I would not make any assumptions without actually getting information from Queen Studios or seeing the piece yourself.
And another thing is that I think that sometimes in production things change. An example of that would be the Samurai Penguin. The prototype that I had a plastic umbrella, a big plastic umbrella. The umbrella itself looked good, but the problem is it had all of these plastic spokes that came out of the deal, and all of those were broken on the prototype. So I tried to individually glue each one. I failed. The stick was this hard plastic stick. It broke. And so I think that XM saw that and they're like, "Ooh, this is really delicate." And so instead they did a paper one. And that ticked people off. Well, in the original description, it doesn't say, well, there's going to be a paper umbrella.
Right.
So there are some collectors out there that are pissed off. They're like, well, that's not what they showed. This is not as good as what we were promised. And yes, you can get mad at that, but also XM could just say, we're sorry, guys. It was going to break. We couldn't manufacture it a way that it was not going to break on you guys. So we did paper.
Yeah. That's where it comes down to the fine print where they get you with the, subject to change. So.
Exactly.
Sorry, I saw your Indiana Jones comment. Sorry. I love it. Going out on an adventure. I love that. So it is frustrating, but I feel like do you think if companies just said polystone with the possibility of this, and this, like, do you think that would make people okay? I don't know.
I think complete honesty is always the best policy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Is anything else on that penguin statue mixed media, or is the rest all polystone?
Everything is polystone except for that umbrella.
See, now that would bother me, I think, more than this whole Joker PVC thing.
That they changed it without making an announcement?
Just because it's the only thing that and you're getting like a little paper umbrella that, usually comes with like a an alcoholic drink or something.
That's what we get. That's what we got from the Samurai Poison Ivy. It's a paper umbrella the same way.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
with a wood stick. And the only thing that bothers me about that one is I wish there was some sort of interior design, because it's very plain on the inside and all the art's on the back, and you never see it.
Yep.
So that's my biggest complaint about it. But I don't mind that they switched it to paper.
there's not many statues that have umbrellas, but the one that comes to mind was the Sideshow. What was it? Not Mary Jane. Gwen Stacy, by J. Scott Campbell. So with that umbrella, they actually used metal for the umbrella,
Wow.
handle and stand, and I believe the spokes on I believe everything was metal. As far as like the construction of the umbrella, and then the actual umbrella material itself, that protects from the rain was like polystone or whatever, PVC, plastic.
Well, I would imagine that they could have gone that way, but it might have increased the cost.
That would have been a better upgrade to give you, metal.
Yeah, I mean that would have been that would have been a nice perk for sure. And the penguin piece is not cheap by any means. But anyway, I was just curious as to kind of like what you guys thought about the Queen Studios piece in particular, and then also, of course, oh, hold on a second. I do want to show this to Dan.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
He looks big there, Dan.
Holy crap.
Big umbrella too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
So this is from a fellow collector. But I'm like, he looks big here.
Wow.
Now he is at the front of the cabinet and Joker's at the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's probably 5 or 6 inches, maybe. I mean,
It looks like it's sticking over a little too.
Yeah.
For those of you guys in the chat, if you have not seen Joker Orochi, that is a big piece.
Massive.
Like, he's massive. So for Penguin to make him look small, yeah, I'm happy with my decision.
So
wow.
I'm getting my penguin. Like I said, mine hopefully will be in the second batch. I hope. I have no idea how long that'll be, but I thought you were going to enjoy seeing that picture.
Wow. That's a big statue. That is a real big statue, guys.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to Prime 1 real quick. So the other controversy was where Prime 1's re-releasing this big chap alien. I kind of feel like they changed it enough. They didn't include the wall. They made the base different. So for me, that's a big enough change. We talked about it on Rogues here before about maybe doing this if they did a 1/4 scale Batman Sanity, if people would be mad or not. I saw people out with their pitchforks and I'm never going to buy from Prime 1. They're the shadiest company on the planet. They only care about money. I saw all those comments, but I also saw other comments that were like, it's enough change. I'm a newer collector. I'm excited that, I have the opportunity to get this sold out piece now. Where do you guys kind of fall on the conversation of, like, for me, if it's exactly the same, I think that's crap. Especially if they said it's a limited number. But if they change it to a certain degree, are you guys okay with that? How do you guys feel about the whole issue with Prime 1 this week?
Personally, I don't like it. I don't like what they did. The only positive thing that's coming out of this for people that do have it is I don't think the newer version looks better than the older version. I don't like the newer base, and you're missing that back wall, which I think looks fantastic with the statue. So
yeah, I'd agree with Eric. I mean, I don't have a dog in the hunt, luckily, because I don't collect Alien.
Yeah, thank goodness.
But if I did, yeah, I think I'd be pretty upset. I mean, you just crushed. I mean, these are high-end collectibles. They're very expensive. When you're talking about things that you collect that are, that are in 4 figures, that's meaningful, right? And so to cut that value in half, that's meaningful, right? I mean, yeah, I just don't. I don't like it at all. I think it's shitty.
I think if they redid the Batman Who Laughs and just took some of the things off of it.
Yep.
Like the back piece where the name is and that crowbar thing. Or maybe one without the robins. If they did it without the robins, that would be fine.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Dan? Like, if you're selling your Batman Who Laughs right now.
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
And let's say they came out with another version, same base, no robins.
Yep.
No EX, just him on the base,
Yeah,
how would you feel?
I'd be pissed. Because as a in the collecting community, there is, I don't want to call it risk because it's really not risk, but if you're a first mover on a statue, you jump on a piece and you pre-order it and you get the EX. I mean, and Chris, you're a perfect example, right? You said you should have jumped on the EX and you missed it. And
I did.
And so there are all those dynamics in this collecting community that we have. And when statue companies start pulling this, it really throws all of that into question. And that's not, in my mind, a good thing. I don't know. I just don't think it's a good thing. I think it hurts the value of the collectibles. I know I'm stating the obvious there, but I don't know. I think they might be shooting themselves in their own foot with a little bit of this too. If you think about the financial aspects of it, I just don't think it's a good thing. I'd be ticked if they did that with Batman Who Laughs. Make another statue, make him in a different pose even, fine. Okay.
Which they will.
But just change the base or take a few things off the base. I just think that's shitty.
Well, this was another component that I forgot to mention that Daniel's bringing up is the problem with the first one is it sold out, but there were breakages. And Prime One said, well, we don't have replacements. You can send it back for a full refund, which again, I talked about. That's expensive. It's expensive to send the whole statue back because it's on you.
Yeah.
They're not paying for that return shipping. So if you bought from Prime One and you have to send it overseas, that's probably $1,000 to get it back.
Oh yeah.
Maybe even more. Again, I don't know how many boxes it was, but at the same time, they said, well, we'll give you $85 credit. Well, $85 credit is pretty nice, especially if it's a small break and you can fix it yourself and you're able to live with it. I think all of us have done that at some point.
Yeah.
And taken the credit. I certainly have. But for them to say we don't have parts and then to turn right around and say, oh, we're going to sell the whole statue again.
See, that I don't see an issue with, though.
So tell me why.
Well, all right. Well, one, they should always have enough replacement parts. That would be nice. But obviously, they're not going to just go produce replacement parts just because the thing broke, in the first place. The only reason we're now getting it is because they're doing the whole entire statue over again. Like, what company ever does, starts making more statues just to come out with replacement parts for a statue? So I don't fault them for that.
Yeah.
Well, I do know that Tweeterhead has done that
They'll go back and make more.
They've manufactured replacement pieces.
That's amazing. Then
it takes a very long time for them to get to the customers, but they've done it. They wouldn't do it anymore because they're not selling their own stuff anymore, but they did it in the past.
And I know that was at a very large expense for Chad.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I mean, he had to eat it. I mean, he ate it and ate it and ate it. I mean, and that's just because he's such a good guy. Like he does. I mean, that's at his own detriment, really. I mean, really, because the factory costs are insane just to try to go back and reproduce something.
Another thing with this newer edition, I believe it's also like $300 or $400 cheaper than the first one. I mean, you're getting less material. You're not getting that back wall piece, but yeah, it's like the first one's going for a lot of money in the aftermarket, and now you can get this newer one for a lot cheaper than what the first one originally even cost to begin with. So
I just want to give this comment. Lexi says, my boyfriend at Wayne Noon practically looks up to you guys at Dan Default. He made a purchase from you earlier this year, loves your setup, and now I'm into collecting as well. Appreciate you guys. That's awesome. What a great comment. Thank you very much. Glad we can enable you guys. Oh, I love it. And so going back to the replacement part thing is that obviously the biggest concern for a lot of companies and collectors sometimes is that a lot of times they don't fit.
Yeah,
they don't always fit. And so like if I have a broken arm, let's say that Batman Who Laughs had a broken arm, I could try to get a replacement from Prime One. They might send me one, but it might not fit perfectly.
Or there might be a slight color differentiation.
Right.
I used to go through a lot of replacements with Sideshow when they did offer replacements, and I could go through 3 or 4 parts and either, like you said, it wouldn't fit correct, or the paint would be slightly different to where it's noticeable. I remember I had a Wolverine premium format replaced. They had to send me a new arm, and the skin tones were slightly different, and I had to send it back. I was like, the skin tones don't match the rest of the statue.
I remember I had the Arkham Deathstroke, and he had that the hand with the long wand.
Yep.
And mine broke. And so they sent me another one, and the paint was a different orange. And so I mean, it was subtle, but it was there. You could tell it was a different paint. It's just that. So it is frustrating. I think that's probably why the companies try to avoid that at all costs. But at the end of the day, you got to replace it. I mean, if you're spending $3,000 on something, yeah. If XM did the Samurai line, the exact same statues, but in another scale, like 1/6, I would be tempted to buy it, and I know people will somehow get mad at others' happiness. Well, I don't know. It's just tough. Like we talked about that again with the Sanity piece. Like some collectors would be mad if they made a 1/4 scale Sanity. Eric, I can't remember. Did you say you'd be mad if they did because you own the 6 scale?
Yeah, I was mad at first, but now I'm like, all right, hey, it is what it is. Well, they said that, I don't know if it's true or not. The theory with them re-releasing this is because the first one came out during the height of COVID and didn't sell very well. I'm not sure what the edition size was on the first.
On
Big
Sanity?
Chap. No, Big Chap.
Oh, okay.
Going back to
I
Prime
was gonna say Sanity sold very well.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Does anybody know what the edition size was on Big Chap?
I
The
don't.
one they're re-releasing?
I don't. But I mean, it must have been. I don't think it must have been massive because it did sell out.
Yeah.
And the new ones are to be determined.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most collectors. I mean, I think the people that get the maddest are the people that will want to resell a statue. There again are some people that say, "I'll never sell a statue," and maybe you will never. I don't buy that because I think eventually, sometime you'll sell something. You'll sell something, and you want to at least get your value back, or close to it, or sometimes more. I don't know. Like Jeff, like you have a lot of amazing Sideshow pieces, limited numbers. You don't sell too many. You do from time to time, but you've had a lot of the same ones back there. I see for a little while.
Yeah. I have a lot of pieces I've had for a long time.
If they came out with another edition size of that Superman, maybe change the base a little bit, would you be mad?
Yeah, but that's one of the reasons I buy from Sideshow. I know that they do variants, but I know that they're always going to be a different paint color, and maybe some other minor tweakings. So that doesn't bother me. XM, if you collect XM, I don't think they've done any variants at all, have they?
XM.
I want to say they did, didn't they?
They did a Archangel variant recently.
Well, but they did that at the same time,
Well,
though.
it came at the same time.
That's the thing is they
They
were.
do them at the same time. That's what it is. Yeah.
So
Well,
I
that's
think
what
if
Alex
this-
says.
I think that's different.
Yeah. So I think if this sort of thing bothers you, it's going to drive you to companies like XM and Sideshow where you know what you're getting,
Yeah.
as opposed to some other companies that you might not.
I think that Prime One has me included. I think I'm a pretty loyal customer. I love what they put out for the most part. Do you think that, again, we brought up the fact that, like, I mean, if they keep doing it, it's going to maybe piss off enough customers that they're not going to buy from them anymore. And again, some customers have, and some of it might be lip service, just like to look big in the Facebook groups, that I'm never going to buy from them again. But do you think Prime One would be worried about that? Or do you feel like they have enough buyers that no matter what they do, people will still buy?
They obviously felt like they left money on the table with the first run. So they're, I think they're going to sell a lot of the new one. So I think they think that's going to make up for any customers they lose.
And again, guys, we have to remember that these companies are for-profit companies. Like they have a license. They want to get as much money from that license as they possibly can. That's why they're in business. I feel like there are certain companies that are better at the community aspect of things.
Yeah.
I think Sideshow is very good at that. I think XM is very good at that. I think that Queen Studios is very good at that. They have some presence with the community, as in some cases it might not be as sincere as other companies might appear.
You have to be careful with it because it's easy to maybe say yes too much as a spokesman for a company. when your yes might mean 5 years from now or something. I get that sometimes from some companies where they'll appear on this show or another show, and they just keep saying yes to everything. And it's like, really? Everything?
Well, and I've heard that. I've also heard some will say, well, that's a possibility. They'll try to be, kind of, because they don't want to like alienate collectors either. They want collectors to be excited about the possibility of a Queen Studios doing a Star Wars license. It's like that keeps getting brought up time after time after time. And I know John wants to say, well, sure, we would love to do that, but
sure,
they have to get the license first. It's like they would love to.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think that companies do have to be careful. But at the end of the day, you have to. I don't know. I still feel like you need to do right by the fans. You still need to do right by them, because if you continue to alienate them, in the long run, it might cost you. I mean, it just might. Maybe not today.
Well, this is kind of what I was alluding to, Chris, when I was talking, the dynamics in the collecting community, right? You want a healthy collecting community, right? You kind of want there to be that drive to get the piece that's in the small ES, right? And get those early customers in. And you want to, that's awesome. They want to create that excitement, right? And that's what the limited nature of all these things is about. And at the end, right, it's kind of the excitement of having that thing that not many people have, and the value associated with that. And you create this kind of microcosm of an economy, so to speak, right? And you start screwing with it like this, and I just don't think it's good, all the way around.
So I was actually watching Flankster's video on this because he owns that Big Chap statue, and he collects the alien statues. And he brought up a good point. I mean, when it first came out, he was saying a lot of people didn't like that back wall. A lot of people display it without that back wall, and that back wall took up an entire, another shipping, box. Instead of the statue coming in one box, now it comes in two boxes. It's where, now this newer edition, it's like a couple of $100 cheaper, and you're also going to save on shipping because it's not going to be, another box, because that wall is now missing. So it's kind of like they're doing like a service for all the people that were originally complaining, maybe that didn't like that wall, or, wanted it the way they wanted it the first time. They're like, well, now you're going to get it the way you wanted it the first time. So
I feel like if you change it enough, I'm okay with that. If it's a direct copy, I'm not okay with that. People keep bringing up Superman Hush. Imagine if they came out with another Superman Hush. Let's say they changed the base. Completely new base, same figure, same cape. I would probably buy it.
It'd be tempting.
It would be tempting.
Imagine how many they'd sell if they put it out in quarter scale.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A billion.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's just, it'll be interesting to follow, because it's, there have been companies that have done it. They have every right to do it. It's their business. It's,
Yeah, that's right. They technically did do it. They did a black one with no cape.
Well, that's true. And people have painted it red and blue.
Yeah.
It's just that they have the bearded portrait instead of the regular. But yeah, they did do that.
Hey, if you're a Prime 1 collector and you see that gold Batman come up for sale twice a year at 40% off, year after year, you should know that anything is possible from Prime 1.
Yeah. I will have you know that I've bought 20 of those gold Batmans. I have them all in a separate room you haven't seen yet. That's Batcave number 7.
It's called the Gold Batman Room?
It's called the Gold Batman Room. You actually have to wear sunglasses to go in there. It's like, you cannot see.
And they still haven't sold out.
They still have not sold out. So I'm the only one that's bought any of them.
Yeah.
Didn't they do that one in white too?
Yes.
White, gold, fuchsia, I think. No, that was a joke. They did do a gold
regular one.
They did a gold Wonder Woman on horse.
Yes,
yeah. Well, it was a bronze.
So, anyway, anything else you guys want to say about these topics?
No, I'm curious to see where this goes, if they're going to do it again, and I'm curious to see what the edition size is going to be on this newer one. Like I said, Brian,
I bet it'll be more than 300.
you put up Brian's post. I think he said the first one was 300. So I mean, if
I
they
saw
do
like
another 300, we're at
350.
around 600.
And that was total.
So why would they reissue something that they sold 350 of instead of reissuing Hush that they sold a gazillion of?
Well, that's a great point.
It's weird.
Do you think people would be less pissed because more people want that damn Superman?
But if they did do it in quarter, to me, a quarter scale collector and a 1/3 scale collector, those are different people.
What?
They are. I don't even know how you and I get along.
Hey, you owned a 3rd scale at one point.
I
still do.
I have 2 right
That's
now.
right, you do. That's right.
But well, let me ask you, if any company came out with a quarter scale version of statues that you have in 1/3 scale, would that really bother you that much?
No,
I don't think it would affect the value of your 1/3.
it wouldn't, because I like the scale.
Yeah.
It's not about the art per se.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, quarter scales take up a whole hell of a lot less room.
Yeah.
I have been purchasing a whole bunch of Samurai Batman.
Yeah.
It's great because, well, they're expensive, but they take up so much less room.
And
It's
they're big.
great.
Yeah.
And those are still big. Yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
But they're so much less than a 3rd scale. I like the 3rd scale because of the scale and the presence it has in the collection.
Sure.
That's why I collect 1/3. If the Batman Who Laughs was in 4 scale and that was the only version of him that was available, I would get the 4 scale. I don't care. I just like the art. But at the same time, if I could choose between those two scales, I would pick the 3rd scale because I just like it better.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though?
But I wouldn't mind if they did a quarter scale Superman Hush.
You know what's funny though? I was thinking about this when Eric was talking earlier about switching his collection. There's something, look, I'm biased. I have both scales. I've got quarter scale and 3rd scale in my collection, and it's a pretty even. Well, no, probably more quarter scale, but there's still a pretty good mix, right? And I think they display well together. I don't feel like there's this obvious disproportionate display. That said, I think you start going like, okay, I've got 1/10 or I've got 1/6 all the way up to 1/3, and they're in close proximity to each other. I think that's when, at least it would bug me. If I had a big enough, if I had like a whole, giant room or finished basement or where, a bigger display area where I could kind of separate the scales, that would work. But
yeah, I think you do. Your room does pull it off nicely, which was making me think when you said you were going to sell the Batman Who Laughs. So where would the other 2 go in that spot next to the other 3rd scales? Or
possibly,
I mean, them in. It's like,
no, I'd probably move some stuff in the room around because I think I would have the Robin King and the XM pieces up at a higher level, not super high, but probably like that medium height, like a 48 to 55 inch height. I'd have to move some stuff around.
Henry, they are doing a 1/4 scale Batman Who Laughs. It's Batman Who Laughs versus Batman. They teased it at the last show or the last exhibition that they did. So
I like that piece.
I do too. I'm probably going to get it.
It's a good one. It is a good one.
And I love that it's based
looks
off
like a
the
comic book cover.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Yeah. So I love it. I'm excited to see more because I think it looked incredible.
Yeah, I actually bought the cover.
Oh, just for that purpose? Nice.
Well, it's funny because one of you guys was buying a comic based on a statue recently, and I thought, oh yeah, it was Jeff. I thought, you know what? I think I bought that cover instead of the statue. It's like I can buy this comic, and now I don't need the statue anymore.
Absolutely. Yeah, there you go.
I'm actually looking for the comic cover that they based the PCS Stage of Thoris on. I think that's going to be my way of not buying that statue, is to buy that cover.
You know, would save you even more money. Don't buy the comic and just look at the image online.
That's no fun at all.
That's no fun.
Yeah.
All right, here's our daily Wins Dan's room tour coming.
Oh, it's coming. And Chris, the special aspect of that room tour is on track for August 2nd.
Oh, I like that. That is fantastic.
Little tease there, guys, but something very special.
Very, very special. All right. Well, we're going to count those days down. That's awesome. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these 2 awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.